Hey beautiful women, what's up? I'm coming up live today from Cusco and I'm in a beautiful, beautiful place, but today is a bit rainy and so I decided that I would come up and record a message for you because people always ask me, how do you live? Like, how did you build this lifestyle where you can travel, you make money from what you love to do, and you're not even an influencer? Like, reality is that I am not an influencer. At the moment when I'm recording this video, I do have very little numbers online. I have no remote job, meaning a job that I work, somebody I work for. I do not have another line of income. I rely on my own incomes and I have two businesses at the moment. One is Empath Success, and you have the podcast, you have the YouTube channel, and there I offer women that are in search of doing something that is truly, truly purposeful and to build their lifestyle of freedom, which entails financial freedom, but it entails also emotional freedom. So you're not stressed, you don't have deadlines, or you do something that you love in a way that you love. Then there is the location freedom, if that's something you're interested in. And then there is the freedom that comes from being your authentic self. And so the incredible freedom that comes from knowing that you are living your purpose. And this is something very beautiful because it's an ever giving journey. Your purpose never stops giving. And so when you find that sweet spot, and it requires a bit of inner journey, it requires a bit of masking down, unmasking, it requires inner work, sometimes shamanic work, which I can do energetically. It requires a lot of courage. It requires to quit your comfort zone. It requires to take a quantum leap towards your future self. But when I look back and I see at my past self, I am like, oh my God, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful she went through that heartbreak, which was so hard. It was truly a sacred initiation. I'm so grateful she got through leaving all of her house behind, her cats behind, everything she knew behind. I'm so grateful because if hadn't she done that, she wouldn't be today in a place where she wakes up every day heart happy. And to finish the things I was saying before, I also rely on another business of mine, which is a business that I run in Italian, and it is a school that I run in Italian in Italy, which I founded after 10 years of doing this job of accompanying people, both from the energy psychology perspective, doing the quantum shifts, inner quantum shifts that are needed to create the reality they wish to live in. And now, this is not an egoistic perspective, but what we really do, we align yourself to the true desires of your heart so that when you get there to the result you want to see, you are not unhappy. Because you know how many people they get to where they want, they get to the peak that they want, and this can be metaphorical or physical, and they can never have enough. That's just not how life is supposed to be. Life is a journey that is supposed to unfold in front of your eyes without you exactly knowing what this is gonna look like. Now, this is the magic because when you surrender your life to your purpose, the only thing you know is that, oh my God, I'm gonna be joyful every day. Are you ready? Are you signing up for a life that is gonna give you joy each and every minute of your day? Because that's a possibility, especially now at these times, because our world is changing and I bow to all humanity that came before me. And I bow to being in this time and place where consciousness is shifting in a way that we are becoming aware, truly aware, and we are physically feeling our power as if it was not ours. People always ask me how I did it. And if I look back, really, the one thing that I did was stop trusting my mind and truly listening to my body. The one thing that really guided my journey, being in an empath body, was listening to my body. It's not listening to a level that you tune in and you feel and you think, which is good. People are laughing. This is such a nice place. Listening to my body, I became a quantum healer, which I had not seen before in my future, because I've learned how to read the symptoms that the body gives, that sometimes are chronic, sometimes are just like a day feeling something weird, and how to truly read them in a way that is unique to you. Because there are a lot of people talking about bioenergetic codes and the meaning of this and that and traditional Chinese medicine. I'm not against all of that. I mean, they all seem to have this manual of how we work. But by following those manuals, I went for 10 years of my life. I was very young. My vital energy was very high. There was no reason why I should not be able to heal, because body's intelligent, body always heals. So why both in the, of course, allopathic medicine, so traditional medicine, I wouldn't find any answer where they were just thinking I was hypochondriac, which I was not. I was truly having symptoms. But how did I not find any response, not even in the alternative medicine or alternative paths? How could that not heal me if it was so natural and so wise? So what happens is that resonates for some people. There are people who have amazing results with some of the ancient traditions. For me, my results were when I discovered the unique alphabet, the unique ABC of my own body. And basically, that happens when I apply quantum kinesiology. Let me give you an example. I don't need to explain to you what is quantum kinesiology, but one thing that you need to know is that we thought that kinesiology was the muscle testing only until we did more research and we found out that the response that the muscle gets doesn't get it from your brain, it gets it from the quantum field. So basically your muscles, when they say yes or no, if you're familiar with kinesiology, there are many ways to do it, with the arm, with your body, with your fingers. The yes and no that is coming through, it is not coming from your body. We call it a body test because it looks like it's coming from the body. But when researchers made more research on it, they found out that actually the response was coming from the quantum field. What does it mean? It means that it's coming from the infinite field of informations and energy that we are all put in, like we're all living into this, the collective unconscious, if you want to call it, or the consciousness of God, if you want to call it. People don't understand how it works, and to be honest, I don't understand it either. I'm using internet every day and I don't understand how it works. Honestly, they try to explain to me. I know there are wonderful videos I can watch and wonderful books I can read, but I just don't. I'm not interested in the logic kind of things, even though these responses are so logical, because I got this experience over and over and over again with clients having quantum healing sessions with me, and they were surprised at how fast and how precisely I could access the informations. Now, I believe that when I developed this talent, which I call quantum kinesiology, so I'm radiesthesia, it's called. I'm not really sure how it's called in English, but I can read the whole energy field and the whole energy history of a person, of a place, of any piece of consciousness we can think about. And this is crazy. So I don't go every day, I don't walk the world with my channels open because otherwise I would just become crazy, right? But I open it on when needed. So when people ask me, when people cannot find the solution to their problems. So just a quick example. Well, first I want to do two things. One thing is how I came to believe in quantum kinesiology. How I came to believe that it actually exists a field that has the informations before we even know it. And that happened to me at the beginning of my journey. I was still training, and my teacher at the time said, okay, now you go, guys, and buy a pendulum. And there are a lot of people using pendulum for divination. That's not what I do. I never used it for divination. It may work, may not work, but that's not my interest. My interest is to solve the issues that bring you to be stuck in a certain place, or for example, a certain amount of money, or a certain kind of relationship that you don't like, or to have somebody disturbances that you really can't solve. And also, this way of self-knowledge will improve 200% the connection you have with your body, therefore with your own intuition, therefore with your own purpose. That's amazing. And with your own health, that's amazing. Now, what happened that day? So my teacher said, sorry, I'm getting tired on one arm, because if you're watching this on video, you can see that I'm a bit shaky because I'm traveling in Cusco and I couldn't bring my tripod. So that's what we have to work with at the moment. But I really like this background and it's very lively and characteristic. So yeah. So that day I went and I bought my pendulum and I didn't even know how to use it yet, but I did some training and I understood like basic things. Okay, that was at the beginning, like many years ago. I can't recall, but okay. I remember that day there was a guy that I really liked. And this guy told me, oh no, sorry. This is not how it went. This guy, so there was, okay, where I was living, there was a tree. Sorry, now the guy would get into the picture, but later, because this is how I got to trust this source of wisdom, which it's invisible and it's always accessible and it's so precise, which is really hard to believe if you haven't tried it yourself. But then the people who do sessions with me, they believe it because they realize, well, how could she possibly know about this and this detail about my life, blah, blah, blah. And it just comes up because it's written in your field, it's written in your energetic field, which we can also call subconscious or unconscious. It depends on which part we're talking with. We can also call it higher self. It depends which part we're talking with, really. Okay, so there was this tree and it was a huge tree. I will go and see if I have any picture of it, but the picture won't make justice of it because it's really, really huge. And it was right close to my home at the time, back in Italy. And I would walk by this tree, and even though it was on the road, right on the road, like a lot of traffic, I would still stop and hug the tree. Call me crazy, but it was such an amazing tree. It had a special energy for me, so I had a special connection with this tree, a platinum tree. Now, one day I walked by this tree the day when I just bought the pendulum, so I was starting to get trained into this technology. And I find on the street, I found a piece of the tree cortex. Yes, I think it's called like that. And it looked like it had two eyes, and it looked like a little ghost, like a little spirit. And I will look to see if I have pictures of it. So all the things I'm talking about is real story, a real life story. And if you can't believe it, go to watch my YouTube videos and you will see I would put up the picture if I have. I don't know, but I will look and I will put what I have. So there is a spirit. I call it a spirit. I call it the spirit of the tree because it looks like a little ghost with two little eyes. And so because I wanted to train with my pendulum, I decided, all right, I will start talking to this piece of cortex, If it's true that I can talk to anything in the world, then let's talk to this piece of cortex. Little did I know that this piece of the tree, it was a piece of the tree, basically. I brought home this piece of the tree, and then I did all my grounding and regulations and harmonizing and connection, and bam, I got to talk to this piece of the tree. And this piece of the tree had a message for me. I started talking and I said, are you the tree? Yes. Because I only could get yes and no answers. At that point, I was training quantum kinesiology. So I was not training channeling. I was training quantum kinesiology, so I was training the yes and no answers, which are the most precise, in my opinion, because channeling comes in from another angle. But this is very precise whenever you want to learn something about yourself or why you're stuck or why you have some pain. And I will tell you another story about that later. And I ask, so are you the tree? Yes. Do you have a message for me? I asked, do you have a message for me? Because I didn't know what else to ask. And so I asked, do you have a message for me? And this piece of the tree said yes. And the answer was yes. And then I asked, okay, so can I know what the message is? And it says no. And I was like, sorry. And I was like, why is this piece of the tree telling me that it has a message for me, but they're not telling me what the message is? And I was not growing any frustration because, of course, if you start growing frustration, you drop your vibe, you drop your connection. So I was unemotional about that, eponymous about that. And I asked the question many, many times. You shouldn't, because I was told to ask only once, and the first answer is the correct one, and that has proven to be true in many, many ways. But I was training at the time, so I didn't know yet about this, and I asked this question many, many times. So the answer was always the same. It was, do you have a message for me? Yes. Can I know the message now? No. Can you tell me the message? No. So at the end, I gave up. Little did I know, and now the guy comes into the picture, that this guy, the day after, he meets me on the street. We were neighbors. And he knows because we talked. We were kind of dating, but not really, but kind of starting to know each other. And he knew that that tree was special to me. And he told me that it was special to him too, because he grew up there. And it was like a symbol of the little pueblo, the little town where he was growing up. Because it's such a huge tree, really, like a century-old tree. This guy tells me, there is the platano, the tree, the big tree, has a message for you. I look at him like jaw drop. What are you talking about? What do you mean that the platinum has a message for me? Because remember, just the day before, I was talking to the little piece of cortex. And I was told that the tree had a message for me, but I was told that it was not delivered to me. So this is one day after. Or maybe even 2 days after, but it was very soon after, 1 or 2 days after that, I meet this guy and he tells me the tree has a message for you. And then I go to the tree and I find the most romantic thing ever. Love letter written by him to me that was pinned on the tree. And I watch it, and he had no idea what that meant to me, because yes, sure, it meant a word to get a love letter, like it's amazing gesture. But for me, it was about the tree having a message for me. So how could this be possible? Because in the quantum field of possibilities, this possibility was already written. Now the guy had already decided that he wanted to write me a letter, and that the way he would deliver it to me instead of giving it to me was to have this romantic thing, kind of treasure hunt, to let me find it on the tree. And when I talked to the tree, to the consciousness of the tree told me, yes, I have a message for you, even though the letter was not there yet, because it was already written in the field of possibilities. Because the guy had already made a decision, he would do this. Now, this is how far we can go to predict the future, which is very, very close. Like, this is the moment you make a decision and you're sure about the decision, that's how you orient a new field of possibilities, and the whole energy around you changes. So, for example, if I went to conversate and open a conversation with the energy of the tree, I got the response that this letter was about to come. And that is when, and then I had many instances, of course, But that is one of the main stories that I have to tell of on how I got to trust this tool that now I use, which carry everywhere in the world. And now think of how perfect the life is, because before getting into quantum kinesiology, I had no idea that this thing existed, like this pendulum. I saw it, but I just felt it was a bit like mystic and woo-woo, But the way I use it is not woo at all. And I think that for me, I'm pretty sure that for me it came in so quickly because it's a talent that I have from possibly other lifetimes, my own energetic configuration. So even though quantum kinesiology is something that everybody can access, you need a certain setting and then a certain setup to be able to access it. And also my history as a person helped me to get that setup, because willing or not, since I was a kid, because I had all these sensitivities, I grew up very clean. I grew up without TV, so imagine my subconscious not getting flooded by all the shit that goes on to TV. I grew up without a TV, and I'm eternally thankful for those parents because they have decided to make me grow without a TV. I grew up without toxicity that is we found in many, many, many fast foods because I simply couldn't have gluten. So no fast foods, no foods with gluten, and it is demonstrated. And maybe I will do another video onto this, how much the gluten which we have today, which is not the healthy gluten we had in the past days, affects the brain and the pineal gland. So my whole upbringing was, and I started getting involved into meditation and spirituality very, very early, and all of that, it just looks like my own upbringing. I was leading up to do this service to the world. So when I do the quantum healing sessions, magic happens. And for example, I just had a client 2 days ago, and she didn't know why she had a pain on her hip, right hip. She told me, ipsosaurus right hip. Okay. And then we go to see that, and I had no idea about her. Like I never heard of her before. She just contacted me through internet, and I go through levels. So this is very important to respect the hierarchy of the levels of your causality. And I can't see any other energy therapy that does it. And I'm still not good at explaining why quantum healing, at least the way I do it, is different than energy healing, but it is not. It uses energy. It can use divine energy if it's needed. I can channel that, but it's not energy healing. This client comes to me and she tells me about her pain in her leg. She goes to the gym every day. She does yoga. She has a yoga teacher. She knows about her body. She is respectful, but still she has this little problem. So we go to see the levels, and the first level is I tell her what's up with rejection. And it turns out that she was actually rejected lately by her partner, and she felt heartbroken for that. And it turns out that the month when that started, that it was about 4 months ago, was exactly when she got rejected by this partner. Oh, what a connection. So is there stuck emotion there? Yes, there is. Is that what is giving her body symptom? Yes, it is. Because when we started working on it on the session, already the pain was going down. And then she wrote to me later and she told me that she was basically feeling like 90% better. It was like finishing the self-healing by itself. And then what happens is that was just a superficial layer, because guess what is the rejection that she was actually living? It was coming from her family, right? So not from this partner, but from her family. So this is when it gets deeper, and this is when we opened a whole conversation about abuse, a whole conversation about violence, a whole conversation about emotional unsafety. And those are things that create big trauma. And so your body is intelligent, because it doesn't give you pain on your hip because this guy dropped you or this guy rejected you. I mean, who cares about the guy? But your body awakens a deeper level of suffering that you're carrying in your body, that this deep layer of suffering related to your whole family history, and sometimes we go even beyond the family history, determines the degree of consciousness at which you can expand, determines the degree at which your nervous system can expand or can relax. Because when you carry this ancient trauma in you, you cannot relax totally. Your nervous system can never relax totally. That's why we do trauma work. That's why you need to release the trauma. Anyway, today I think I talked enough. I get really excited to talk about quantum healing. If you ever get interested in a session, you can find the references on my website. I leave it in the description below, both in the podcast and the video. And I wish you a wonderful continuation of your journey and a wonderful having curiosity to connect to your body in a different way. Because sometimes when you can't find the answers, somebody else, like me, can help you find the answers. And it gives me a lot of joy to help you find the way to joy yourself.